So what we're going to do now is after you decide what plants and flowers that you want to grow, whether it be vegetables or, hello, by the way, sorry. Uh, what we're doing is planting the seeds for your year. And the best way to do it, I've looked at all the different views, different internet ways that the people are growing, and they don't do it the way I do it. They do a combination maybe, but that's not the way it should be done. So I am going to show you the way that it's done. So I had earlier done a few. I've done my basil and my columbine. Now I'm going to do some other ones today with you. Now these ones are called, where is it? I've got it mixed up. I've got so many different seeds that we're going to be growing this year. So these ones are actually going to be the nasturtium. Let me show you so you can see, hopefully. So these are the nasturtium. They're edible, delish. So these actually, what I did is I soaked them in water, and I knew now that it was time because they are getting a tiny bit soft and squishy. The other thing that some people do is they actually take a piece of something abrasive and take the hardness off the shell or the outer, I forget what the name is called right now, sorry, put it in the comments. So you definitely don't want these to soak too long, but just as long as they're just almost getting ready, that they're looking like this. Dang it, I can't see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, there it is. See where the sprout is looking like it's gonna break. When it's doing that, you know it's ready to either stick in the ground, or what I do is take it and I put it in a plastic bag. I think it's the most efficient way to get them to grow the best and fastest. So I'm going to stick them in the bag, and along with what I stick in the bag will be some soil. And I'll make some nice wet bed of soil as though it would be outside in the elements. Now, what you do is you're going to have the soil in a nice moist bed. So because it's a harder shell and a bigger shell, the harder the shell, the bigger the shell, the more moist you're going to put the soil that it's going to stay in. So you're going to almost make it a tiny bit excessively wet. So here I've got a nice ball of a nice wet amount of soil. So as you can see, ooh, where am I hope you can see it. So it's going to be a right nice ball. I'll show you. I hope you can see from here. That's going to be wet. We don't want it, making too much from this. right there. Can you see? Just wet, wet enough that it's dripping. And then you're gonna have that in a nice bed of soil. So I'm gonna put it here. Look, you're gonna put it on a nice little area so that it can start growing. But the thing with this plant, nasturtium, once it does start sprouting, it needs to be put in its home and never disturbed again. The roots cannot be bothered because it does not like the roots disturbed. So the way we're doing it this way, you definitely do not want to mess around with this one. So I got a nice little bed of moisture for it. Try not to make too much of a mess. So as you can see, this one I made, it's enough so it stays together. You know, make sure the soil is wet enough to stay together. So if you have to add a tiny bit more water, do so. But again, you don't want it to be dry when they're putting with the big ones. So here we go. It's right at the moisture that it's almost dripping. Oh, here if I squeeze really hard, you get a drip. You only need a drip when it comes to the big ones, but you need it to be wet enough, but not too wet. So what I'm going to do here is kind of make a sandwich, make it a bed, you know, make it so, make sure it's definitely properly covered in the soil when you put these ones. You don't want them not covered. And you're going to see in our next video, you grow with me, we'll grow together. So I'm going to put a tiny bit more because it's breaking open a bit. So again, just making sure, if you add a little bit more water, great. You don't need it to be a ball. The point is to make sure that it is definitely properly covered. So now, because I've added dry soil, I'm going to have to try not to make big mess. But this is not something you normally want to do. Do not add water in the bag, because then you cannot properly gauge the moisture. So we did add a tiny bit that time. So now you're going to just cover it up. You're not going to cover it or close the bag. You're just going to cover it up and put it in. Now my hands are dirty, so I can't bring you to where I would put it. But if you grow with me, you'll know that you put it in a nice spot that's going to be dark, and for the next few days, or even at least 24 hours. But I like just 74 hours is preferred in my opinion. So you're going to take your seeds, you're going to put them in a nice warm dark place, let them grow, and then you put them into the vessel that they're going to grow from there. So you'll either put them in a small vessel, growing pot, or the permanent larger vessel, depending on how you're doing it. With me, I'm going to be making cascading, so it's going to go into its permanent vessel pretty quick. just as soon as I'm sure there's no more threat of frost. And even if there is, I'll just put a covering or a blanket for now because they won't be big enough to be in the way of something covering. So grow with me. Make sure that you grow your seeds in a bag to start so that it has faster germination. Thank you. Click share, subscribe, and do whatever other stuff you're supposed to make sure you're growing your own vegetation, things that are going to be beneficial to your health. Yes, I did grow a little bit of poison. These are actually that I have some columbine, but it is so beautiful. So do grow some extra flowers as well to encourage any beneficial creatures that'll come and help with your yard. See you soon. Make sure you get all you need. And also, again, make sure you grow some nasturtium. Peppery, hot, delicious, even in your pizza, salads. You can make teas with it. Hell, I might make some wine. Grow with me and let's see what we're growing together.